Today we fly. Today we soar. Right now, whisper the thing that you've scared will actually work. Say it out loud. Say it just once. Say it just to you, just for your ears to hear. Then speak the name of the version of you that you've been hiding. Say it loudly, say it proudly. Today is not the day to be subtle. Today we fly. Hi, my name is Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 39 books and counting. I've had the wonderful privilege of working with over 5,000 people, helping them write, publish, market their books to bestseller, and everything that goes beyond that. But what I really do after 40 years in marketing space, after more than 50 years in sales space, what I really do is I help you find that powerful clarity. I help you be clear because clarity is powerful. I am the architect for your visibility because your visibility comes through you being clearly, truly clear. And today is the day of clarity like none other. Today I declare your clarity, your visibility, your awesome amazingness to the world, in the world, for the world, and for yourself as well. Because your flight is not just about serving somebody else. Your flight, just as much as you're going to help other people, is also here to help you, to make you the best you that you can be in the amazing day that we call today. You're so incredibly cool. You've got so much that you're meant to do, so many things that you absolutely can, should, and will do in this world. And it all starts today. Are you ready? Are you going to go on this journey with me? I've been spending all morning long creating this secret, sacred space for you, looking at the outline for the in-person event that we will be doing in a city near you. Willie and I are coming to your area in very small groups. We're going to meet with you and show you a vision of a future that right now you can't even see, and that's okay. But today is your day. We're not waiting for the 6 months until the event comes out. We're not waiting until we're jumping off the cliff. I'm not here to push you. I'm not going to shove you off the cliff and laugh while you fall. I'm jumping in front of you. I am leaping off the edge of the cliff, stretching my wings out and soaring, leading you. I am going to lead you high up into the heavens to fly in areas that you didn't even know you were allowed to, let alone that you could. To soar in ways that you hadn't known until now your wings were always meant to do. So many of us are so busy, so frustratedly flapping to try to stay or get airborne, when in point of fact, that breeze that you feel in your face is a wind meant for you to simply stretch out. Let it catch your wings, and like a kite, you will find yourself sailing and soaring. Have you ever watched an eagle or a hawk way up in the air? There was an area that we used to drive by back when I lived in Oregon that's right on in the Columbia Gorge. You know, it's on Highway 30 as you follow the Columbia River, out towards the ocean. Okay. And there is this beautiful place where there's high, lofty peaks, and the eagles, they just soar over top of you. I mean, what you really want to do is pull off to the side of the road, because if you watched them the way you want to, you would crash the car. It's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. But what I need you to see in that is I need you to see that you are that eagle and that high up, soaring, lofty presence. I remember when I was coming back from Colorado in March. In both ways, it was really cool the way that it worked out because on the way going there, I was on one side of the train. And on the way coming back, I was actually on the other side of the train. So in both cases, I had, as we were coming through, after you go over the top of the mountain peak in Colorado, you follow the Colorado River the rest of the way down into Utah. So you have the Colorado River right there next to you. And so on the way in, it was on my right-hand side because that's which side of the train I was on. And then on my way back, it was on my left-hand side, and I was on that side of the train. And it was beautiful to see these high mountain peaks with the river cutting itself through. And you could see the eagles soaring through. And every once in a while, one would come swooping down, grab a fish out of the river, and go back up. You need to see that vision. Not because you're going to sprout feathers and you're going to have a pointy beak, but because you're meant to soar and be the best you that you can be. You're not a chicken. You're not less than. You're incredibly, amazingly, powerfully cool. You've got so much to share with the world, more than you'll ever imagine, more than you could ever know. And for every height that you reach, there is a new height, a new level to get to. When we move beyond flapping and we begin to soar, we begin to see a change in the world, a difference in the world. And we begin to look at the world differently when we embrace that we are the eagle, that we are meant to soar, that we're here to be the beacon of light to the world, to show to people in darkness that lit, wonderful passage, that thing that you do, the one you do so easily that you haven't even thought about it. It hasn't even crossed your mind that might be what somebody needs because it's so easy. You do it without thought. How could somebody possibly struggle with this? Oh, pish posh, I wouldn't teach that. That's simple. Everybody knows how to do that. Everybody knows how to get up in the morning and brush their teeth. Nobody needs a training on brushing your teeth. Everybody knows how to walk down the stairs. Nobody needs a training in walking down the stairs. It's a little more than a year ago that I've been on this weight loss journey. I'm down a little more than 120 pounds now. There's another probably 100 to go, minimum of at least 60, but it may be as much as 120 actually, just depending on, whose chart you want to look at basically. And I'm doing it totally based on health. I for the most part, ignore the scale. I think I've weighed once, and that was a couple of weeks ago, and that had been the first time I had weighed in like 2.5 months. And really, honestly, the scale was kind of being kooky on me. So I'm somewhere between 269 and 280 right now. That's what I can tell you. It was just every time I would look down, it would change a little bit. And it doesn't matter because it's about health. You see, when I started this journey, I remember, I had a coach for the first whole 3 months of it. We met every single week. And that coach asked me before we got started, what was my goal? And I said, I'd like to get healthy enough that I could get healthy. It wasn't even about weight loss or any of that. It was about acknowledging how I was in such poor health that I needed to find a level of health to be able to begin to start becoming healthy. And I can absolutely tell you, most of this last year has been really about just getting to that point. And some of where I'm at still is really at that point. It's all about taking, and I don't know enough of it to really teach it to you, but taking and regenerating the very cells inside of me and doing the things that are healthy habits versus all of the things that I spent 57 years of my life, 57 and a half at that point, doing wrong, some because of ignorance and some because of intentional, willful wrong choices. And it's a process. But what I know is they told me I needed to walk every day. There's a certain style of walking, and I'm not going to steal the thunder from the folks at Energize Health. If you want to learn their system, you absolutely should go to energizehealth.com and join their system because they're amazing people. Shameless plug for them that they did not pay me for at all. I just really love them. And they said, you need to walk every day. They actually said you need to walk for a minimum of an hour every day. I laughed. I said, there's no way I can do an hour. In fact, now, I'm a year and a month and a half in. I still can't walk for an hour. Okay? Can't do a 5K. I average about 3,500 steps a day, and I have to break that into 2 walks. That's the level I am now. But I'm celebrating that because when I first walked down the stairs, and oh boy, was that a challenge, grabbing a hold of the rail and stepping very carefully. Now I could actually get down the steps without holding onto the handrail. That's pretty amazing all in and of itself. And I made it to the end of the driveway to where our mailbox is. And I don't have that long of a driveway. There's grass there, so we wouldn't do it. But you could technically park one car, 2 cars, so one in front of the other. And then, it's a 2 car, so, there's room for cars next to it too. But, that's about how long our driveway is. Think of the length of 2 cars, and that would get you up to the porch, basically. And that was the walk that I did, down the steps, and then the length of essentially 2 cars, and then back. And I was worn. I was gone. I was blown out completely. Managed to make it in the house into the chair to sit down. The chair that's basically just inside the door. In fact, it may have even been that first day. I may have sat down on the chair on the porch. I don't remember now. And each day, well, not every day, but as the days of especially that first month went by, I made it a little further. The road out in front of my house and the quote unquote block, the neighborhood that I walk around, has little cracks in the sidewalk that go pretty much all the way across the road. They're not, bad or, unlevel or anything, just a real subtle kind of line in the thing. And every single one of them has a special significance to me because every single one of them marks a goal that I had. I'm going to try to make it. So, I made it to the mailbox and back. And then I made it from there, and we live on a corner. So, my next goal was to make it to the, turn left and go to the corner. Okay, not a real long distance, but, again, another 3-4 car lengths, whatever that would be, to the corner and back. Huge, huge, amazing thing. And then for a couple of days, I was going out to the corner and, walking a big arcing circle around and back. So a few extra steps arcing the circle versus having the arc of turning around being, from corner, from edge to edge of the road. And then I turned to the right and I saw that first crack, which is just a few more steps beyond turning to the right. And I committed myself to trying to make it to that line. And then to the next line, and then the next line. Eventually making it all the way where I could see there's a big tree at the corner of that first road. You turn right and then the next road up. And I could see clearly that there was a road there in the tree. And I really, really wanted to get to that road. And I remember there's a little hump in the concrete right there just before you get to that road. And I remember for the longest time, that little hump in the concrete was kind of a combination of a miracle and a sign. Oh yeah, you've made it this far. It's okay if you begin to start arcing and turning around. And then I used, if you know what a four-corner turn is, there's actually not a road that goes right, that goes to the left. It's only straight or right. But I made an arcing turn there, taking all the corners basically of that to get a few extra steps in. And for a long time, I would say that I probably went a couple of weeks when I got to that place just only doing that. And then eventually I turned right on the road. And again, cracks and different places in the sidewalk. And each one, it's like, I want to make it up. There's a neighbor that has a driveway on the left-hand side. There's only one house on that particular road. Okay, today I want to try to make it to even with their driveway and then turn around. And eventually all the way up to the corner. Now, when you make it to the corner, you're basically halfway around the block. At the end of that corner, that particular street has a very steep, how sometimes, one road is lower than the other, and there's just a steep, almost drop off there, really. And for several times, I turned around and went back because I didn't feel comfortable making that steep walk down. And eventually I got to the place where I could. Now I do it all the time. Once you've committed that far, once you've gone halfway, you can either finish the circle or you can go back around. Either way, it's going to be the whole entire block. And then it became 2 blocks. Then it became 3 blocks. Actually, after it became 2 blocks, then it became, hey, I'm really starting to feel kind of good. I think I want to take a second walk today. I even had a few times towards the end of the summer, last summer, where I walked 3 times. A little hot right now in the middle of the day. When it's 95 or 100 degrees outside, you don't really feel like going out and walking. Not that I'm not saying that I might not here in the next couple of weeks start doing 3 days again. And I did that. I did, that 1 block twice. And then I did that 2 blocks twice. And then it came winter, and the snow fell and it was very slick. And there was lots of times when, the walking was very little, or I walked around just around the house, walked in place, did things like that. And when spring came back around and the snow was melted and I could go back out, even if in, my giant parka, or even a hoodie and the parka, depending on how cold it was. It gets really cold here. And I had to build up some of that. And it's interesting to see some of, how far I've made it and how some days I can't make that. Now, why do I tell you all that? Because I'm bragging about myself? Absolutely not, no. But each one of those steps is a process. Each of those cracks in your cement is another goal for you to move just that little tiny bit further, just a little more forward. And as you make each step, as you take each day, when you get to the place where you can, I put a step counter on my phone. When you get to the place where you can set that step counter, I set it initially at 3,000 steps. Well, actually, no, I take that back. I set it initially at 4,000 steps. And then after doing it a couple of days and seeing that I was doing about 1,200 steps, I brought it back down to 3,000. Okay. And that was my goal. I want to make it to where I can do 3,000 steps every day. And I'll tell you, it wasn't until I was doing the 2-a-days that I was making it, even close to the 3,000. And now, with the exception of days where, I take my mom to the pool, or, I'm on a trip driving somewhere or something, I can make it. I can make that 3,000 steps every day. And it's getting closer most days to being around 3,500. And eventually I will up that again. And I'll put it back up at the 4,000. I may even skip the 4,000, go straight to 5,000. You see, we do what we can do today. As you leap off of this cliff and you soar, you don't have to be the kamikaze hang glider, zip down, whip the fish out of the pond. You may just be really good at spreading your wings and just soaring and just showing people, hey, I knew I believed I can fly, and now I know I can. But today's your day to fly. Even if all you can do is make it out to your mailbox, you got to jump off that cliff. Come on, I'm already out here, soaring on the winds with you, inviting you to come out. Make that leap. So what does that leap look like for you? It means you got to claim who you are. You got to stop being a chicken. You got to be an eagle. Okay, where'd the phone go? I must have left my phone somewhere. Anyway, pick up your phone. I don't know where I put it. Anyway, doesn't matter. Pick up your phone and say on your phone, hi, my name is, and what I do is, and what I need you to know is. You got to say it loud and bold and clearly. Whether you're bald or not doesn't matter, but you got to say it loud and bold and clearly. My name is, what I do is, and what I want you to know today is. You see, we backed way back. We were talking about, the people who were always going to be lurkers, who were never going to step out. And I know some of you are just going to stand there. You might jump up in the air and just kind of catch the breeze, but you're never going to actually go out over the cliff. Okay, be you. No judgment. I'm going to keep calling you up. Come on higher, further up and further in. But who you are and where you are right now is absolutely perfectly, wonderfully, amazingly, absolutely perfect. Yes, yes, it is. And today's the day to fly, to just be you, to pick up that phone and say, hi, my name is, and what I do is. Yeah, you're going to need clarity. You're probably going to today say what you do. And after we work together, you're going to be like, wow, I wish I would have had the clarity on that. I mean, I've done it in my own life. I've told you over and over again over the course of these last month and a half or so, that though I've been talking about in my intro, I still talk about all the books that I've helped people write. That's why I always tell you now. But what I really do is I'm here to help you get clear, to be visible and valuable so that you can make the impact that you need to make in this world. And in order to do that, you need the 3 C's: clarity, consistency, and connection. And then I broke it way back down for you. Helped you look at how you already have that heart for connection. You love the people and you want to connect with them. You already have that consistency because you wake up every morning and guess what? You're you. You might be afraid to share it, but you're still you. And that's where the clarity comes in. And that's why I harp on clarity, 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 clarity all the time. Because the other 2 are things that you may be shying away from, like you're shying away from jumping off this cliff and soaring here with me. You have the heart. You are you. You just need to be you out in public. You need the clarity to know exactly who you are and what you're meant to do so that you can do it. And I would love for you to drop the word clarity. Drop it in the DMs, in the comments. Because today's your day to fly. And in order to fly, and yeah, I put fly in the description. And you can put that one if you want to. But really, it's still all just about clarity. The clarity starts once you start moving. Clarity doesn't come when you're sitting still. The clarity comes after you jump off the cliff. You're never going to know that you're an eagle and that you can fly until you're flying. That baby bird, you remember we talked about the baby bird on Monday? The mommy flips upside down and the baby bird goes plummeting to the earth and it's convinced that it's the end of its life. Because that baby bird's never flown before. That baby bird knows what the wind in its face feels like because it's ridden on mommy's back. That's amazing and cool, and it loves the wind in its face, and it wants that. And it may have even, shook its little wingies around and stuff, but it's never flown. Now, in its own mind, it may have, but it doesn't really actually know how to spread out its wings and fly. And the mommy bird catches it and takes it back up on high. And they do that over and over again until the baby bird looks at these little wings. It's like, I wonder what these things are for. Mommy's got them too. Oh, look, mommy does this with her arms. See, this is why it's so important that we do this, because people, even your children, are watching you. They have wings too. We're always telling our kids, you can be anything you want to, but then we don't do it. You can be anything you want to. Oh yeah, mommy, then why aren't you? Why do you believe that you're less than when you tell me that I can be anything I want to be? How does that gel? How can I be anything I want to be, but you can't? Why do you tell me that you believe I can fly, that you believe in me, but you never leave the porch? You never jump off the cliff. Why do you tell me that it's impossible to soar with eagles when you live with turkeys, and then we keep living with turkeys? Ouch, right? All 10 fingers pointing back at me. Okay, I mean, if you took some of that on, I didn't mean it harshly at all. But that's the truth. You need to already spread those wings and fly, because the little baby that's riding on your back needs to see your wings stretched out. They need to see you soaring, catching the currents of the wind. You don't even have to flap. See, some of you, we were talking about this earlier, you're flapping really hard and you get airborne a little bit. And then you wonder why your children are trying so hard and just not getting there. Because that mommy in the mirror, that daddy in the mirror. And if you don't have children, that doesn't mean that there aren't children looking at you. That doesn't mean that there isn't somebody that's a couple steps behind you that would really love to know how you do the amazing stuff you're doing, that's in total awe of you, but they're also emulating you. And if you don't show up, they don't show up. If you don't speak out, they don't speak out. If you're not visible and valuable, they're never going to learn to be visible and valuable, because they're imitating you. They're stealing your stuff and reteaching it. And sometimes, yes, that's absolutely totally frustrating. I absolutely get that. But also, are they stealing your stuff because you stole somebody else's stuff and what you're teaching is really somebody else's stuff? Ouch. We've all been there, done that. You got to have your own stuff. You got to develop it. You got to know the why behind you. And that's where the clarity comes in. Clarity is powerful. You need it. So come on. If you haven't jumped yet, jump. You got to pick up that phone. You got to say, hi, my name is, what I do is, and what I'd really love to tell you today is, and then just tell them, 15 seconds, 15 minutes. Okay? But the only way to do it is to do it. The only way to be seen is to be seen. The only way to be visible is to be visible. If you want people to know you, you've got to be where you can be seen by people so people can know you. Okay? Drop the word clarity. Let's get you clear. Absolutely, you need that powerful clarity. But don't wait until you get clear to jump. Jump right now. Come on. The breeze is fun to fly in. Just make that little step. You got this. Those wings will support you. I believe in you. I know you can. I've seen you soar before. You maybe didn't even know you were soaring because it was so easy. You see, the eagle doesn't think about flying. They just jump up off the the high branch, the high wire, the cliff, whatever. They just catch the wind and they just fly. And if you went to an eagle and you said, teach me your 5-step framework on how to fly, they'd be like, jump off the edge of the cliff and fly. Now's the time to fly. Now's the time to make the jump. I believe in you. I know you can do it. If you haven't jumped yet, come on. You got this. Don't step. It's not stepping off the cliff. It's jumping up into the air. There is no cliff. There's only just the breeze that you already feel in your face, beckoning you to soar. And now's the time. Tomorrow we're going to get together again, just like we do. Today you're going to drop clarity, but tomorrow we're going to get together. We're going to do our nice, casual, laid-back Saturday. And we're going to reflect on what it feels like to soar. So you need to do a little bit of soaring today so you can reflect with me. We're going to talk about all the winds that it feels when we feel the wind. Winds in the wind. That might even be our title for tomorrow. You got this. I believe in you. You're going to do amazingly incredible things. And I celebrate you already. And thank you. Because the somebody that needs you, the people that are watching you, they'll be grateful when they see you flying up high. Thanks for doing it. Until we're together again next time, I hope that you are happy, safe, warm, and loved, that you're soaring up on high, and that you have a great week.